Peace and Black Power, family. This is the Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. Umar Johnson, Kingkongconsciousness, notorious RBG, most requested scholar. I am Nat Turner, the new Marcus Garvey, greatest black certified school psychologist in history, greatest Pan-Africanist thus far of this century, author of Psychoacademicholocaust, founder of Team Pan-African, the international movement for the independence and protection of African people. Simultaneously the most loved and the most hated scholar in the world. Simultaneously the most loved and the most hated scholar in the world. Simultaneously the most loved and the most hated scholar in the world. Brothers and sisters, I want to talk about something. I want to talk about the 4 primary rules, the laws of white supremacy. 4. These are mine. I discovered them through my own systematic study and analysis of white supremacy over the past 1,000 years. They don't come from any other scholar. These are mine. I created them. If you use them, you are borrowing my intellectual property. Please give proper credit in notation. I want to talk about this because I'm seeing too many black people end up in quagmires trying to understand and make sense of white supremacy. We're still confused about white supremacy. How can the greatest victims of a particular set of social, economic, political, and militaristic circumstances also be the most dumbfounded about understanding the very circumstances under which they have experienced more than any other people in world history? How can the African who has suffered at the hands of white supremacy more than any other people be the most dumbfounded about that white supremacy that they have experienced? The answer to this question is 2-pronged. On the one prong, we have been deliberately miseducated and indoctrinated to serve the white power structure, to identify with the white power structure, to love the white power structure. See, when you're in love with something, it's difficult for you to understand it. When you're in love with something, it's difficult for you to recognize what the thing you love is really doing to you. When you love something, your love often outpaces your logic. And you will go on loving something even if it is not in the best interest of you. So the love affair that Black America has with white America has served to distract us and deny us from the reality of the effects that white supremacy has had upon our lives. The other part of that is black religion. The other part of that is black religion. The other part of that is black religion. And what I mean to say by that is that the black church and the black mosque, most black religions, including traditional African spiritual circles, have preached to black people, the greatest victims of white supremacy. Our religions have preached to us consistently for hundreds of years. Albeit we are the greatest victims of white supremacy, our religions have preached to us consistently that color doesn't matter and we must love our oppressors. Even today, you are taught that your race doesn't matter. Your culture does not matter. Your history does not matter. The only thing that matters is accepting Muhammad ibn Abdullah as the last prophet of Islam. The only thing that matters is accepting your Lord Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Your religion has taught you that paying attention to your race and the condition of your race is a sin. We are taught to be colorblind. Is it a coincidence that the greatest victims of racism have been taught to ignore race? If you are victimized by a thing, how could you ignore it? If you are constantly finding yourself in fires, God forbid, how could you ignore the properties of fire? If you are constantly finding yourself in an economically compromised position, how could you afford to ignore the principles of economics. If you are constantly being physically abused, how could you not study to understand the principles that give rise to domestic violence or physical violence? So if black people are victimized by the very fact of who they are, black African people, how could we not seek to understand the relationship between who we are and the oppression that we face? I always say that the job of religion in an oppressed community, the job of the church in an oppressed community, the job of the masjid in an oppressed community, the job of the traditional African house of worship in an oppressed community is to make the victims feel like they are winning even though they are losing. The job of religion is to make oppressed people feel that they are somehow winning this war because God is on their side. So they manipulate our sense of urgency about our reality by indoctrinating us with superficial beliefs in divine intervention based on your political economic condition. Let me say that again. We have been indoctrinated to believe that divine intervention is a function of political and economic condition. How in the hell can divine intervention be a function of political and economic condition when black people are largely responsible for putting ourselves in the political and economic condition that we are in? See, you should never say that a particular thing is divinely imposed when it was under your control to have made a different decision that would have brought about a different set of circumstances. Now, snow is coming to Philadelphia today. Snow is coming to Philadelphia tonight. Snow is coming. If I know the snow is coming and I decide to drive in the snow and I get into a car accident, can I blame God for bringing the snow that led to my car accident? No, I cannot. And the reason I cannot blame God for bringing the snow that led to the car accident is because although God may have brought the snow, God did not make me get in my car and drive during the storm. Although God brought the snow, God did not make me get in my car and drive during the snowstorm. So for black people to blame God for our political economic devastation while we waste trillions on useless materialistic European-made goods and acquisitions, for black people to blame God while we waste trillions on useless European-made material devices and acquisitions, is evidence that we do not want to take responsibility for the responsibility that we bear for why we are in the condition that we are in. Now, with that stated, I want to talk about the 4 rules of white supremacy. Dr. Umar Johnson's 4 rules of white supremacy. I'm not going to keep you long on this Saturday afternoon. But before I do, let me remind everybody to donate to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Please donate to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Please get on your Cash app and donate to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy by going to cash.me/$FDMG school. Cash.me/$FDMG school. And I will shout you out during this live. And if you want, you can donate your contribution in the name of your favorite Dr. Umar hater. For the remainder of January, I'm saying make your donation in the name of your favorite Dr. Umar hater. Since they want you to stop supporting this effort to build independent schools for black children, make your donation in the name of your favorite hater. And we have one right here. Shout out to Brother Anta, who donated his $5 donation to Andrew Schultz, that European Caucasite who has the podcast show with our good brother Charlemagne, who has a significant problem with Dr. Umar Johnson, my positions, my ideology, my teachings, and my platform. So shout out to my brother who made his donation in the name of that devil and Drew Schultz. Shout out to Sister Felicia, $25, Brother Richard, $20, Brother Keith, $20, Nikki, $2, Stacy, $10, Karima Harris, $20, Brother Jonathan Allen, $5. Get on your Cash app, cash.me/$ FDMG school. All right. Make sure you make that donation. And feel free to put it in the name of your favorite Dr. Umar hater. You don't have to put it in the name of your favorite Dr. Umar hater, but you can if you would like. So, I will be in New Orleans February the 1st for the National Independent Black Parent Association training. I will be in Washington, D.C. February the 8th. I will be in White Plains, New York, February the 29th. Oklahoma City, March the 21st. Orlando, Florida, May the 23rd. Ocean Springs, Mississippi, April the 18th. Dallas, Texas, May the 2nd. Cleveland, Ohio, June the 20th. Who else do we have? I know I'm missing some. Go on my website, DrUmarJohnson.com, to register. You can attend any of the NIBPA trainings that you like. You are not required to attend the training in your state. You are not required to attend the training in your state. If you live in Mississippi, but you want to go to New Orleans training, if you live in Washington, D.C., but you want to go to the White Plains training, if you live in Oklahoma, but you want to go to the Texas training, by all means, you can go to the training wherever you want to go. And the way you find out what new states have been added, you go to DrUmarJohnson.com. Go to DrUmarJohnson.com. Los Angeles, California state training will be in Los Angeles, March the 7th. Remember, one training per state. So if you live in Louisiana, get to New Orleans. You live in Mississippi, get to Ocean Springs. You live in New York State, get to White Plains. You live in Oklahoma, get to Oklahoma City. You live in Texas, get to Dallas. You must get to one of the trainings, and I have set a deadline. February the 1st. If your state has not signed up with Dr. Umar for a training by February the 1st, your state will not receive a training. If your state has not signed up by February the 1st with Dr. Umar for a training, there will be no training in your state. There will be no training in your state. Anybody can reach out to me. All you have to do is find a place that can seat 100 parents with tables and chairs, 12 hours on a Saturday, 8 to 8. All you have to find is a place that can sit 100 parents, tables and chairs, 8 to 8 on a Saturday. Do you understand me? That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do, brothers and sisters. That's all you got to do. Now let's talk about the rules of white supremacy. Let's talk about the rules. Rule number 1, which is the most difficult of all rules, and that is that all white people are racist. All white people are racist. All white people are racist. Every last one. There are no exceptions to the rule. I want to be very clear about that. If you do not understand the first rule, there's no need to even discuss the other 3. You must understand the first rule first. Okay? They are all racist. Now, racism doesn't mean that they all hate black people. Racism doesn't mean that they all dislike black people. What racism means is that they want to control and monopolize the resources and opportunities that other people get. In other words, they want to stay in charge. So a white person can marry you. That's not a contradiction of white supremacy. They can have sex with you. That's not a contradiction of white supremacy. They can go to your church and pray with you. That's not a contradiction of white supremacy. They can live next door to you. That is not a contradiction of white supremacy. They can laugh and joke with you. That is not a contradiction of white supremacy. They can join your black organization. That is not a contradiction of white supremacy. White supremacy is about controlling the resources and the opportunities. It has nothing to do with emotions. It has nothing to do with feelings. It has nothing to do with relationships. Let me give you an example. In college, as we all know, a lot of white girls throw themselves at black athletes. All of you who've been to college, you have watched white girls throw themselves at black athletes. Or black guys in general. They sleep with them, sex them up, swallow them up, the whole thing, right? That same white girl that was dating black young men in college at 18 and 20 and 25. That same white girl that was sleeping around with the brothers at 20, if you find her at 40, she might be the district attorney locking up the same black men she used to sleep with 20 years ago in college. Do you understand? Do you understand? Do you understand? Do you understand? You understand me? The same white kids that listen to the gangster rap, the same white kids that play on your football team with you, your starting quarterback and your starting tight end, the same white guys you make music with, 10 years later, they will have a law degree and they'll be locking your ass up. Okay? Or if they see their sister looking at you, they'll go tell your sister, you better stay away from him. See, the problem with black people is we make this assumption that what white people show us is necessarily who they are. Black people have this assumption that what white people show us is who they necessarily are. White culture is based on military science. That's how they've been so successful. White culture is totally based on military science. They never drop their guard around black folks, but they love to make black people think the guard had been dropped. Bill Cosby, perfect example. Look at all those white girls. He was taking care of them, giving them money, looking out for them. He thought that when they were behind closed doors, it was just about him and her. Not at all. She is always an agent of white supremacy, even when you're between her legs. The white woman is always an agent of white supremacy, even when you are between her legs. And the reason why some of you Negroes can't stand me is because I won't co-sign your love of white folks. You hate the fact that I keep on reminding you that they're not your friends, because if you know that they're not your friends, why the hell did you marry one of them? If you know they're not your friends, why the hell you move out the ghetto and move right next door into an all white town to be with them? See, if you know that there's a war against African people, then your white loving behavior cannot be justified and accepted, and that's why you would rather shut me up. That's why you would rather shut me up. Because I'm the only black scholar you know in this country who tells you that you're not allowed to date outside your race. Every other fake ass Hotep speaker on YouTube, every other so-called this and so-called that, they all make excuses for you to stick your little wee-wee in a white girl. They all make them excuses. They all make them excuses. Or they'll say you can't sleep with a white one, but you could go get you a Mexican. You could go get you an Arab. You could go get you an East Indian. I've heard excuses made by my Moorish brothers. I've heard excuses made by my Nawapian brothers. I've heard excuses even made by some of my God and Earth brothers. I've heard excuses made by some black nationalists. I'm the only scholar that tells you you ain't got no business sticking your wee-wee in anything other than your African queen. That's why you hate my guts. That's why you say I don't have real degrees, because you ain't never seen a Negro with my credentials talk to you the way that I talk to you. You would have to grow back to Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. He was the last real doctor to give you that unapologetically African doctrine. I am the first since Dr. Khalid to give it to you like this. And the only Pan-Africanist to give it to you like this since Garvey. That's why you got a problem with me. Rule number one, all white people are racist. I didn't say you got to mistreat them. I didn't say you got to hate them. You got to understand them. That's all, brothers and sisters. When you see a pit bull dog, do you hate the pit bull? No. But you know that pit bull got some tendencies that you don't necessarily want to evoke. So you keep your distance from the pit bull. You don't hate the pit bull. I love snakes. I love snakes. But guess what? I know snakes got certain types of natural tendencies that I don't necessarily want to find myself on the wrong side of. So I keep my distance from the snakes. So I'm not telling you to hate white folks. I don't teach hate. I'm telling you to understand your enemy and know when your behavior needs to be adjusted so that you don't fall victim to the enemy. That's what I teach. I don't teach hatred. Hatred is energy. I want you to use every ounce of energy at your disposal to help us rebuild the infrastructure of the Pan-African movement. I want you to use every ounce of your energy to help us rebuild the structure of Black America, the Black Caribbean, Black South America, Black Australia, Black England, Black Canada, Black Africa. I don't want you wasting time hating white folks. That's valuable energy. That's valuable energy. Why the hell will I tell you to hate your enemy? If hating your enemy was going to solve your problems, we'd be free already. I will never teach hate. I ain't got to hate my enemy, but I got to understand my enemy, and I got to defeat my enemy. I do not have to hate him. If you've ever taken martial arts, if any of you have ever taken martial arts, one of the first things they teach you in martial arts, and I took Taekwondo right here in the streets of North Philadelphia as an elementary school student. In Taekwondo, the first thing the instructor teaches you, your emotions are never to be wasted on your opponent. Your emotions are to be channeled into constructive activity. Your emotions are never supposed to be wasted on your opponent. Your emotions are supposed to be channeled into constructive activity. All white people are racist. The young ones, the old ones, the rich ones, the liberal ones, the Democrats, the Republicans, the Greeks, the Romans, the Anglo-Saxons, the Dutch, the Swedes, the Jews, the Irish, the Italians, the poor ones, the rich ones, the celebrities, the not celebrity, the homeless white. They're all racist because they all have an obligation to protect white privilege and power. There can't be white privilege and power without racism. If you eliminate racism, then where are they going to get the white privilege from? White privilege is based on an unfair advantage. It is based and perpetrated on an unfair advantage. How the hell are you going to keep white privilege without racism? They go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. And that's why you got white folks who will run around and tell you they not racist. You got white folks who will run around and tell you they're not racist, to which you should turn around and ask them, what have you done to get rid of the white privilege that you benefit from since you're not a racist? The next time a white person tells you that they are not racist, your next question should be, the next time a white person tells you that they are not a racist, your next question should be, what have you done to do away with the white privilege that you live off? How did you get rid of your white privilege? How? How did you? When did you get rid of your white privilege? So that you and I can be equal. If you and I are equal, that means there's no white privilege. When did you get rid of that white privilege? Number 2. Rule number 1, all white people are racist. Rule number 2, white people don't share power with black folks. White people do not share power with black people. White people do not share power with black people. White people, if you tell me that you're about to do some investing with a white man, I can tell you that at some point in that relationship, unless you are extremely careful, and you can never be too careful because they control the entire legal apparatus, at some point, you're going to get manipulated out of your holdings because white people don't share power with black folks. You are out of your African mind if you think you're going to enter into a lifelong partnership with a white person. You are out of your mind. Michael Jackson, rest in peace. The greatest entertainer in history. Highest selling recording artist ever. Had a relationship with Sony Records. Sony got him killed. The artist known as Prince had a relationship with Warner Brothers, made him billions of dollars, and Warner Brothers turned around and got him killed. Russell Simmons had a relationship with Def Jam, but Russell Simmons no longer occupies that position he once had in Def Jam. White people don't share power. So when you hear a black politician tell you that we are going to share the wealth of America, we're going to share the wealth of this city, we're going to share the political power, the economic power, they're lying to you. White people don't share with no damn body, and especially not black folks. White people don't share with no damn body, and especially not black folks. If you disagree with me, I would challenge you. Can you please show me an example anywhere in history where white folks shared equal power with black folks in any situation whatsoever? Business, politics, relationships. Show me where white folks share with blacks. They do not. In fact, what has been the biggest propaganda point during this current wave of gentrification in the black community? White folks are coming in, buying up the black community, and they tell you what? We're coming to share in the neighborhood revitalization efforts with you. Ain't that what they say in New York? Ain't that what they say right here in Philadelphia? Isn't that what they told DC? Isn't that what they tell Black Los Angeles? They say, we are not here to move you out. We are here to share. White folks don't share shit. They don't share power. Get out of my face with that bullshit. Rule number 3. Rule number 1, all white people are racist. Rule number 2, they don't share power with black folks. Rule number 3, white supremacy is ruthless. R-U-T-H-L-E-S-S. R-U-T-H-L-E-S-S. White supremacy is ruthless. Machiavelli said it best, the ends will always justify the means. If we got to pump your boys full of autism, if we got to pump AIDS into your homosexuals, if we got to homosexualize and lesbianize your boys, whatever we got to do, if we got to go to Africa and poison the food and poison the soil, if we got to give you poor health care, if we have to do use your prisoners as research monkeys, whatever we got to do, mass genocide, abortion, hysterectomy, whatever we got to do, it don't matter what we do. There is no sin so great that white supremacy will not use it. There is no sin so great that white supremacy will not use it. There is no sin. There is nothing that you can name where the white folks would say, we're not going to do that because that's just wrong. You will never see that. You will never see that. You will never see that. World War II, they said you can't drop the atomic bomb on the Japanese people because that'll kill the babies and the women and the unborn and mess the soil up. When I was in Japan a couple years ago, they told me that the area where America dropped the nuclear bomb, food still don't grow. Nothing can live there even now. America, the only nation to drop a nuclear weapon on another people. They don't have no political morals. They don't have no economic boundaries or borderlines. They don't have no rule book for what you can and can't do to another people. You don't know who the hell you dealing with. You think if you kiss their ass long enough, you think that if you regurgitate their scholarship long enough, you think that if you get enough of their college degrees, you think if you marry one of their daughters, you think if you pray to their white Jesus, you think that if you worship their scholars in history and if you pledge loyalty to the Constitution, that they will leave your black ass alone. You are wrong. They don't give a damn about you. Stop investing so much of your time into kissing white folks' rear end because it will never pay off. You invest in them, they have never invested in you. You invest in them, they have never invested in you. They are ruthless. Absolutely ruthless. And what is the fourth rule of racism? Rule number 1, all white people are racist. We didn't say they hate black folks, but they are racist. They want to control the resources and the opportunities. That's all racism is. Control of resources and opportunities. Systematic, inequitable, unfair, biased distribution. White folks don't believe in equality. Equality is a sin. White supremacy means they must always look better than black people. So equality is a sin. America has never been equitable. America will never be equitable. There has never been a day in the history of this nation. There has never been a single day in the history of this nation where black people were treated fairly and equally. You can't give me a day. If you know of a day, give me a goddamn day. Give me the day. Name a day. Give me a date where on that one day for 1 hour, 2 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours, 18 hours, give me a date where on that day white folks treated black folks equally for an hour. You can't give me a minute. You can't give me a second. They are always scheming on how to disadvantage black folks even more than they already have disadvantaged us. Did you hear what I just said? I said they are always scheming as to how they can do a better job. They are always scheming as to how they can do a better job practicing racism. You Negroes are under the assumption that white folks are trying to do away with racism. You silly ass Negroes. You actually believe that Barack Obama being in the White House meant that white people were trying to do away with racism with your dumb ass. Let me tell you a little secret. Whenever white folks look like they about to get rid of racism, that means they really about to strengthen racism. Let me say it again. Whenever it looks like white folks are trying to get rid of racism, that means they about to strengthen racism. That's what that means. What that means is they need to distract you. They need to distract you long enough to refuel the machine. And that's what they did for 8 years under Barack Hussein Obama. They distracted Negroes long enough to reorganize and refuel white supremacy all over again. There has never been a second where they have not practiced racism. You can't give me a single second where they have not practiced racism. Rule number 4. Rule number 4. Rule number 1, they all racist. Rule number 2, they don't share power. Rule number 3, racism is ruthless. They will do whatever they need to do to achieve their means. And rule number 4, white supremacy is irreversible, irreconcilable, and irredeemable. Let me say it again. Supremacy is irreversible, irredeemable, and irreconcilable. Did you hear what I said? White supremacy is irredeemable, irreversible, and irreconcilable. You cannot get white people ever to stop practicing racism. I don't give a damn how many baptisms. I don't give a damn how many shahadas. I don't give a damn how many Bibles you give out, how many Qurans you give out. I don't care how many white folks' lives you save. I don't care how many white kids you educate. I don't care how much free food you give out to white folks. There is nothing you can do to positively change racism. It is irreversible. It is irredeemable, and it is irreconcilable. You can destroy it or get away from it, but you cannot reverse it. You cannot redeem it. White racism is beyond redemption. It is beyond reconciliation. It is beyond reversal. Destroy it or get away from it. Those are the 4 laws of white supremacy, brothers and sisters. Let me see if y'all gave me any donations. Let me see. I'm giving y'all all my wisdom, but where the donations at? Last donation to the school was Richard Harris. Somebody better get on their Cash App. Somebody better get on their Cash App. Cash.me/$FDMG school. I better get some donations. I'm about to hang up. Okay, here we go. Cornelius Bennett, $5. Appreciate you, brother. To Sister Tiff, $100. You might be donor of the day again, Tiff. $100, Sister Tiffany. Terrace Brown, $10. Cornelius Burnett, $5. Brother Dallas, shout out to Brother Dallas, West Coast, $25. Get on that Cash App. We got to fix the school up, y'all. Let's go. I finally got the team I need to do the renovations, and it's time to get this done before the weather break. Before it get hot outside, I need the Marcus Garvey bill. Amy Burt, $10. Sherrod Sadler's, $3. Amy Burt, $10. Get them cash.me/$FDMG school. Go ahead and tap in. I'm going to take a few questions. Don't forget to register. DrUmarJohnson.com for the NIBPA training. I'm only doing this one time. There will never be an NIBPA parent training tour again. I'm only doing this one time. There will never, ever again be an NIBPA black parent training. If you don't get it in 2020, you're not going to get it. If your ass is too lazy to come and learn how to help your kids, that's your fault. I'm doing my job. I'm discharging my ancestral obligations faithfully. It is up to you to get your lazy ass there and learn the information. Somebody said it's 12 hours. That's too long. Your ass be at them rap concerts for 12 hours. Your ass be at the club for 8 hours. Your ass was out there on Black Friday buying the white man's junk to put under the white man's Christmas tree. You stood in that line all night, but you can't sit on your ass for 12 hours to learn how to save your children. Damn coons. Slam 6, where you at? Going once? William Henry, $5.
Dr. Umar.
Yeah, I see Aaron. Is that a brother or a sister? No disrespect, I can't see you. It's a brother. All right. Go right ahead. Where you at in the world, my brother?
I'm in Huntsville, Alabama.
Huntsville, Alabama. I was in Huntsville one time don't y'all have Troy University there, I think? Troy State?
Yeah, we have Troy. We have Alabama A&M as well.
Yeah, I was there one time. Go right ahead, black man. What's on your mind?
I was wondering, I know you got the school and everything for the kids and stuff. Are you going to have another school or another program for the older men that's trying to get to that level as the kids that you got going to the school?
Well, the FDMG campus will be a communiversity. So in addition to the program for the young people, we're going to have programs for the adults. We're going to have weekend academies. We're going to have evening programs, brother. It's going to be something for everybody. You'll be able to come to Delaware for a whole week and take a week-long course. You know what I mean? We're going to have the black men sleepovers when all the brothers come, and we're going to stay in the school 24 hours, lock the doors, and we're going to organize and talk and strategize and get ourselves together. And we're going to have the same thing for the sisters. Once we get the school open, my brother, it will be the black Mecca of black power. It will be the Taj Mahal of black consciousness. FDMG will be for black people what Tyler Perry Studios is for black movie stars.
Okay, that's good. I needed that. Because I need to go there.
Yes, sir.
And I got another question as well.
It's going to be something.
I got another question as well. Psychologically, I had problems with my mother, and she had some problems. You know what I'm saying? So that trickled down to me, and that relationship is hindering the relationship that I have with my black woman now. So any advice on how to deal with that right there?
Absolutely. It sounds like you and your mother need to go to mommy-son counseling. Y'all need to sit on that couch and talk to a black therapist, a psychologist, a social worker, or counselor, and y'all need to work through y'all baggage. I got to get into all of that psychic energy that has been accumulated through the years since you was a baby, and y'all need to process it. You have some things that you need to say, but they need to be said in the right way. That's why the therapist is there. And your mom has some things that she need to say to you in the right way. That's why the therapist is there. And y'all need to have a conversation with the mediator so that emotions can remain under control long enough for you to understand her perspective and for her to understand your perspective. So that's what I recommend. You and your mom need some therapy. And this doesn't have to be a long thing, and it doesn't have to be a drawn out thing. 4 or 5 sessions might be all it takes. 4 or 5 sessions with a couple follow-up booster sessions. That's all you and your mom need. But I would get on that if I was you. I would go to my mom and say, Mom, I would like for us to go to counseling. You know what I mean? And then you could just Google black counselors or psychologists down there in Alabama, and y'all should go, my brother, sooner than later, because what you don't want to have happen, and I know your mother is a relatively young woman, but what you don't want to have happen is have a parent transition or any relative transition before we were able to forgive them, ask for forgiveness, and make amends. Although we can still do it on the ancestral plane, it's much more difficult. Do all of that now. Straighten out your relationships now. Give people their roses now, while they are still with us.
Yeah, because I'm going through a situation because I just had a black daughter, and me and my wife, we trying to, you know what I'm saying, work things out. But that seems like my trust factor and the things that I'm going through with her is a common reason why my mother treated me the way she did, the way she treated me. So I guess we need to do that.
Yeah, you got to work on that thing with your mommy. You got to. I mean, that don't mean you and your queen, you know, won't benefit from a couple sessions either. But you and your mom is primary because the love affair that we have with our mother is the blueprint. That's the blueprint for all of our relationships. So you have to fix that. And it's the same with our sisters with their fathers. We have to fix that love affair with the opposite sex parent in order to get things under control.
Yeah. Thank you, Doc.
All right, brother. Be safe, black man. Be safe.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. We got to work it out. We got to work it out. We got to work it out. Yes, 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 yes. Got to work them issues out. Tap in if you have a question. Tap in if you have a question. Philadelphia, I'm still looking for a place to hold the Black Men's Family Court meeting. And we wanted to let the sisters know we're not trying to get brothers out of child support. That's not what we're doing. We're not trying to get brothers out of child support. With the Black Men's Movement, Be Men, the Black Male Empowerment Network, Be Men. We want to help our men be men. We want to help our brothers be men. BMEN, Black Male Empowerment Network. Be men. Okay? We got to organize the brothers. See, the way I look at it, we have so few organizers in our community, so few real leaders. We got spokespersons, but we ain't got leaders. We got everybody talking, but we ain't got nobody organizing and leading. So Dr. Umar got to do as much as I can do to help us solve our problems with the time that I have on this earth. That's why I'm tackling miseducation. That's why I'm tackling mass incarceration. You understand? That's why I'm trying to tackle the economic situation with the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Credit Union. You feel me? Sister Psy.D. Sister Psy.D. She declined. So yeah, we're not trying to help the brothers get out of paying child support, but we want to make sure that brothers who are not able to pay are not being criminalized because they cannot find employment. You understand? That's what we fight. That's what we fighting, brothers and sisters. It's all about each one, teach one. We got to stop the war between black men and black women. Too much fighting. We got to stop all that. Willie Henry, $5. Where them donations at, y'all? Where the donations at? Cash.me/$FDMG school. If you want to mail them in, you can mail them into FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware. P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware. 19809. Where's the school located? Where the hell have you been since February? I am Israel, going once. I am Israel, going twice. I am Israel, going 3 times. I am Israel, what's good?
What's going on, Dr. Umar? How are you, man?
I'm well. Where are you at?
I'm in Detroit, Michigan, but I was born and raised in Dimona, Israel.
All right, all right. Talk to me, brother. What's on your mind?
You know, I'm trying to figure out, man. I know you've been working on getting this school off the ground, and what really bothers me with this entire the mentality of our men and women is before someone actually asks you a question, they make assumptions on, you know, well, where is this school, or this school is never going to come to be, or why is it that so many black men and women associate a black business or a black person with distrust? And why is it that, you know, when a black man comes up with a business plan or a business proposition and they start to come off the ground, why is it that our people, the first thing they think is to spew out negativity? or why is it that we get so much pushback from our own people and trying to make something happen? Because even if I don't have enough information on your school, my first thought is, well, how can I help you make it happen? Not, well, what's going to happen with your school, or how? You know what I mean? It's just,
Yes, sir.
it's different, and I really want to understand if you're able to kind of give me your opinion goes. But why is it that we give each other so much pushback when it comes to businesses, when it comes to just supporting each other?
Well, number one, we were taught to do that. We were socialized and indoctrinated, programmed to self-destruct. No matter where you go, whether it's slavery, whether it's colonialism, the white man always created a mistrust culture amongst black people. And all we do now is we just perpetuate that same mistrust culture intergenerationally. And we do it without even thinking about it because it is so unconscious. Like the average black person, Willie Lynch on a whole nother level. They're not even conscious that they are working against their own best interests. So oftentimes the white man doesn't even have to do anything to destroy a black initiative because black people will destroy it themselves. Now, with that being said, I do want to say this though. I think part of the pushback that I get regarding FDMG is threefold. It's threefold. Number one, you have a group of people in a conscious community who have an agenda to try to sabotage my efforts because they did not succeed with their own efforts. If you look at most of my major detractors, and there's only about 6 of them, there's only about 6 majors, but what they all have in common is they all wanted to be successful mental health practitioners. They all wanted to be successful public speakers. It didn't work for them. So jealousy and envy is at the heart of why the major detractors do what they do. Putting that to the side, black people in general have an issue because they don't want to be held financially responsible for the resurrection of black people. Our biggest problem right now, we do not want to be told that we have to use our money to help our people. And by me talking about we need to build our own schools, black folks are saying that's going to make me financially responsible to the community. Black people have never had to be financially responsible to the community. We've had to be financially responsible to our religion. You got to be financially responsible to your church, financially responsible to your fraternity, financially responsible to the masjid, but we've never had to be financially responsible to the community. And so a lot of people feel that if I am successful with the school, which we will be, more black people are going to start building institutions, which means more black people are going to have to be more financially accountable, and most of us are not interested in that. So my message doesn't allow people to get away with not using their money to save the race. And that's why there's so much pushback.
It's just kind of odd to me. Right now I'm working on, in order to consider myself a black man, the only way that I feel I can truly be a black man is to help my black man. So for me, I'd be more inclined to help you with an idea or a prospective business that even if it fails, I'd be more happy that I attempted to put something forward for my people than to say, oh, well, it's not going to work. Oh, well, it's not going to happen. Because before I leave this earth, my only goal is to people and touch as many lives as possible before I leave here. So I couldn't fathom why, even in the comments scrolling, why people are why go out of your way to jump on the bandwagon, to hate on something that looks like you for you, because I haven't heard you spew out anything that's like it's self-hatred or anything negative or any of that. Is simple facts if you just look in the books where they hide stuff from black people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So for me, it baffles me because it's all speculation. There's no factual information behind any of it.
No facts.
So what I say to you, Dr. Umar, and I'm in Michigan right now, I am a motivational speaker. So if we ever get to connect, man, I would love to work with you and help you uplifted. And right now, I'm working on the Heart of Detroit Center of Philanthropy, which is a drop in the bucket compared to what you're doing. It's not come to fruition, but like I said, my goal is to continuously push forward until I can say, well, you know what, I did my part, because that's truly all I want to do is my part for my people. I have 4 children, 3 girls and a boy.
Wow.
And when they go out into this world, I need them to understand that their father fights for not only what's right, but what's right for our people. You know,
Yes.
so kudos, man. And like I said, if I can be of any assistance, I will be sending over a Cash App as well. So if I can be of any assistance, man, please reach out, because you have support in Michigan.
Thanks a lot, black man. Do you have my number to get in touch with me?
I don't.
Are you able to take it down now?
Yes, I can. Give me a moment. Talia, do you have a pen? No. Okay. I don't think I have a pen. Okay.
Nah.
I got one.
But you know what you can do though? If you go to my Instagram page, I have the phone number, I believe, on the contact section.
Okay, I have a pen now.
Okay. 215 989 9858.
Got it.
Hit me up, black man. Let's do some work.
I appreciate it. I'm ready and willing. So you take care,
right,
man. And like I said, be strong, black man.
Okay.
Take care.
Be safe, brother. All right now. One
Okay.
love. One love. Now you see, my brother was a Hebrew. I'm an African, right? We can still work together because it's one family. It doesn't matter what name you put on the family. Y'all want to get caught up in words and the white man's language. I'm not into intellectually masturbating the vernacular of my oppressor. Let me say that again. I am not interested in intellectually masturbating the vernacular of my oppressor. Let me say it one more time. I am not interested in intellectually masturbating the vernacular of my oppressor. Whatever you call yourself, we are all members of that same original human family. Let us work together because of that, and let us not fight over the names that we choose to describe the undescribable. Nicole G going once. Nicole G going twice. Nicole G going 3 times. I think she's on now. Sister Nicole, how you doing, beautiful?
Hi, Dr. Umar. How are you?
All is well. All is well. Where you at in the world?
Well, I'm headed down to Maryland.
I heard that.
Yes.
On this busy Friday afternoon, you're going to be in that traffic for a minute, ain't you?
No, I'm not. I'm almost there.
Okay, good, good. You got a good, okay, you already was on the road.
Yes.
Okay. What's on your mind today, Goddess?
What's on my mind is this. You know, I look at your likes. I look at all of the views you get on YouTube. I look at your Instagram where you have 488,000 followers. And I say to myself, what in the hell is it that if 2 people, $2 per person out of 488,000, you should have over $900,000. I did the calculation. Yes. So I'm saying to myself, you know, I'm here, I'm driving, and I'm having this most amazing time to listen at you. Wake us up as Black people, you know? And I was raised in the South, and I got to see firsthand what you're talking about because I grew up where the Black men shouldn't date the white women. And we were afraid for our brothers' lives. I grew up in that environment. And so many people don't understand what you're doing, but I understand it 100% because I seen racism firsthand. I seen me being bused into the city public schools, and there was an all-white school that was less than 1 mile from me. So I grew up in that life, and I understand about the white supremacists. I don't hate white people, but I know that I have to be in a position to understand how my life can be undermined by them. I am in the financial industry, I'm in the insurance industry, and I feel it every day. And it hurts because I don't make the kind of income that my counterparts, Caucasians, make. And it bothers me because I work just as hard as they work. And I don't work for a company, but I'm appointed with companies. But I still feel that oppression. So what you are doing is one of the most amazing things. You stand out above and beyond all others because you are showing it via your actions that you are for the people. I went to Wilmington, I walked around your school, I got to see it firsthand, and I know what your goals are. And I'm 100% on that. And I hope that everybody that is listening, those 488,000 people can be in their heart to say, let me donate $3, let me donate $5. So I really want it to be where people are really engaging this situation. For my people, please, let's stand behind our brother. Let's make him excel. Let's make him be where he needs to be. And we have to do it. We know about the power of group economics. We know about the power of standing behind our brother. And what he's saying is the shit that we really want to say that we're scared and afraid to say. Because I grew up in a white environment. I grew up where my great-grandmother was afraid of Caucasians. You know? You guys, you don't have no reason to be afraid because the masses is what creates change. Dr. Umar Johnson is just the forefront for us to give us a balance, to wake us up and make us conscious. But if you people are sitting saying, and you just watching this like this is a freak show, watching this because you're getting your bucks off of things, that's not good. So guys, please wake up. Everybody I know got somebody that's going to jail or somebody that's in the system. Don't let your baby grow up and be in the system because you couldn't stand up something, a little bit of something. Single mothers, you should first one saying every month, I'm going to donate, whether it be $10. I don't get my nails done, women. I do my own donate, that $25, that $50. Cause. Make sacrifices. Your babies are going to love you for making sacrifices now. What are you going to do when they get older? I'm shocked. I don't like it. I mean, if I had $1 million now, I would give it away together to build with the foundation. Older guys, yeah, I understand your point. But right now is the time for you guys.
You breaking up a little bit, Queen. You froze up on me, Sister Nicole. You froze up a little bit, baby. But thank you. Powerful, 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 strong spiritual message coming from one of our queens. Thank you for that, Queen. Keep your eyes on the road. Safe travel to Maryland. Make sure you send me a text message and let me know that you made it. That was Sister Nicole there. Indeed, y'all. Who else tapping in? I got a few more tap-ins before I got to make this run up to West Philadelphia. Overbrook. Shout out to Will Smith. Shout out to Willie Smith, Fresh Prince. I'm the Fresh Prince of Pan-Africanism. He the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Who else want to tap in real quick? Who else? Where the queens at? Where the single queens at? Where the single queens at? Where the single black women at with natural hair? Single black women with natural hair. Single black women with natural hair. Where y'all at? Single black women with natural hair. We ain't got no single black women with natural hair. Everybody got a weave and a perm. I love all y'all anyway. Go ahead and tap in. Anybody can tap in. Brothers, you can tap in. Parents with questions, tap in. You got a question, go right ahead and tap in. I see you, Sister